What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday, July 6th, 7:17 p.m., 2021. I had quite a few of you guys asking about XDC videos, so I figured I would start doing some research. And, I've only spent a few hours on it, but not nearly as much information as I'm used to finding when I research like Ripple and XRP and stuff. There's usually just so much stuff, like it's endless. So you have to dig a little deeper, but I did get some stuff. I want to start off by just going over R3 as a company before we even get into XDC and Zenfin, because I think R3 at its core plays a major role in why XDC is going to be part of the new financial system and everything. So we're just going to run through this. Most of this stuff is the first time I've ever seen it. I just pulled a bunch of stuff that seems more than relevant, semi-relevant, excuse me. Losing my train of thought here. So anyway, this is R3's main website. We're not going to cover their homepage because it doesn't really have much, although this is cool. Confidential computing list as top strategic technology for IT leaders in 2021. We'll get back to that. So here's an older article. It says, meet the 25 banks working with distributed ledger startup R3. So here's who we had. We had Bank of America, BNY Mellon, Mitsubishi, Citi, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, Morgan Stanley, the Royal Bank of Canada, SEB, Barclays is there. You got Credit Suisse is there, Goldman's there, JP Morgan's there. Everybody's here. State Street's there. We got UBS. A ton of people, right? I also had looked here, and it did say at one point that SBI Group, who was also one of the earliest and biggest investors in Ripple, and same with R3, to my understanding, they weren't listed on that. I don't know if it listed Merrill Lynch on that one either, and Intel. It did say that somewhere, I don't know if it was on here or not, but I saw on oh no, here it is here. Yeah, Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs and Santander, who we know is also a Ripple partner, walked away from the funding round and left the R3 group. So, got some big names in this stuff. Here's an R3 press release page, and then just going through here, you're seeing where they're partnering with people for bridge stuff. Conclave is one of their programs, or platforms, that we're going to get into in a second. IBM's joined forces with them. That's always huge when you're dealing with tech. You can see they're all over Singapore. They're dealing with the IMF, CBDCs. They're very, very legitimate company. Believe that. NASDAQ has collaborated with them for institutional grade offerings of digital asset exchanges. It's a big deal. They had a partners thing, which has like AWS. I believe Accenture is also on this list, was one that I recognize. This thing kind of takes forever. They're partnered with NASDAQ. That's huge. And it's like, I didn't even know this until recently, which blows my mind because Accenture's there. Just because of like Accenture and R3 and the Ripple connection, I already had invested in XDC. So then I started learning more about what R3 is doing and who they're partnered with. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's, huge. It's pretty crazy. These are a lot of the multi-party solutions that they're offering. They do stuff with banks, capital markets, assets, government technology. You see all this stuff. Digital identity, which is going to be huge in the near future. Healthcare, supply chain, telecom, trade finance, which it seems to me, I've been seeing a lot of stuff that's kind of showing where XDC could be a really big deal in trade finance. I've seen a lot of stuff listed that. They got some success stories down here with some people they've partnered with and stuff that they have going on. I'll let this scan one more time just so you guys can see some of the content. And then here's their page on Corda, which talks about how they build distributed apps and networks that are fast and flexible. It's all about privacy, the Corda network, flexibility, open design, and development. And it kind of goes over that a little bit. This is the roadmap. The Corda community is buzzing since its open source debut in 2016. We've had 4 full releases. Read the releases notes to see Corda's rapid progress and check out what's next. That just talks about how they capture community feedback and adding priority information and stuff like that. Stuff's pretty cool. Worth checking out if you're interested in that type of thing. And then this is their platform, Conclave, which is pretty interesting. So you can pool sensitive data from multiple parties, secure and protect data, and attest remotely. It accelerates time to production. It's a powerful set of features that you can help to build. This stuff's pretty cool. They have a little video at the top that we're going to look at, but I want to read this. Businesses today are walking a tightrope between data protection, regulation, and achieving data-driven business outcomes. Leveraging Intel's hardware-based confidential computing technology, R3's privacy-centric Conclave platform enables businesses to accelerate collaboration and innovation with sensitive data in a secure, trustworthy, and compliant manner. And I think that's huge. From code complete to cloud in minutes, this is really interesting stuff. I'm going to be looking into this a lot deeper here in the near future because I had never even heard of this until I started putting this video together, to be honest. But let's go ahead and just watch this video. It's about 2.5 minutes long.
In today's digital world, data has never been more paramount. And that data, if shared, holds the key to greater potential, analytics, and insight. Yet firms resist sending sensitive data to counterparties, customers, partners, service providers, and sometimes even within their own firm. Why? Because once you share data, you lose any control over how it will be used. So, the data remains trapped in silos, along with the insight. But what if multiple parties could contribute data for analysis without revealing the actual data to anyone? What if you had technical assurances into exactly how your data will be used? Well, now you can. Meet Conclave, a new platform from R3 to securely share and analyze data. Conclave enables firms to unlock greater business value than ever before by leveraging confidential computing and Intel SGX technology. Here's how it works. Multiple parties enter their confidential data to be pooled within an enclave where it's encrypted in a way that even the owner of the computer cannot observe it. Here, the data is aggregated and processed using a verifiable algorithm, still without revealing the underlying data to anyone. This allows you to build applications that analyze data from multiple parties, access previously inaccessible data, provide assurance that the customer data remains protected, deliver new insights without compromising on confidentiality, and solve industry problems such as fraud detection, market data aggregation, and private order matching. It's also developer-friendly and flexible. An intuitive API brings the world of trusted execution to commercial developers everywhere. Write confidential computing apps in Java, Kotlin, and JavaScript. Develop enclaves in any operating system. And best of all, Conclave is compatible with Corda Enterprise, R3's flagship blockchain platform. A new era of digital trust technology has arrived for businesses everywhere. Let's embark on it together. Discover more at conclave.net.
So yeah, there's that. Super interesting stuff. I love these little videos when they put them together. This is some older news. A lot of this will be a little older. It's just to build up a little bit of backstory on what R3's been up to over the past few years leading up till now. I'm going to start following the subject a lot closer in the meantime and try to get some more relevant and impactful news coming in. Well, I think this is all relevant, but it's relevant to now. I mean, CEO of Japanese finance giant SBI vests his crypto industry hopes in Ripple and R3. Yoshitaka Kitao is vesting his future hopes in them. Has singled out Ripple and blockchain consortium R3 as reasons to remain optimistic about the future of the crypto industry. Bear market notwithstanding, Kitao made his remarks during an interview with Japanese crypto news outlet CoinPost on February 18th. SBI is an active partner in Ripple via their joint venture SBI Ripple Asia, established to promote the use of XRP in Asian financial markets back in 2016. He underscored the protracted crypto market slump, I lost my place, is not to be thought of as an end of the industry, and that SBI has been working intensively to foster the adoption of XRP among financial institutions. He remains in relation, or what does it say? Catal also made positive remarks in relation to Enterprise Blockchain Consortium R3, of which SBI is a member, as well as reportedly being the largest outside shareholder, as well as the R3 Corda settlement platform. The Corda settler, he's bullish on the potential impact of the Corda settler, R3's universal payment settlement platform, which unveiled XRP as its first supported crypto in December. So keep that in mind. A lot of these things, a lot of people see this stuff as competition and stuff, but I really think that we're going to see it. And this is, not financial advice. This is me talking from a less than expert perspective too. But I think we're going to see, and I'm going to get into Quincy Jones in the next video. He talks about the relationship between XRP, XLM, XDC, and even Algorand, and how they're going to basically function the entire system on the back end almost. And it's just really interesting stuff when you're looking back and kind of seeing how these breadcrumbs have been here for a while. Private payment system for central bank digital currency is possible. Well, that's interesting, and we're not going to go over this too much, but using the Corda system, they were able to use a simplified payment system that safeguards user privacy for lower value transactions while still ensuring that the higher value transactions are subject to the mandatory anti-money laundering and what's that, counterterrorism checks. I'm not sure what CFT is actually. We also know that Ripple's now doing all that as well, so this is old news. We now know it is very possible. Hong Kong and Thailand pilot DLT-based project for cross-border payments. That side of the world's all about this stuff. They've been leading the way, and of course here it is. It's supported by major enterprise blockchain consortium R3, which acts as a technology partner. The CBDC project is based on R3's Corda blockchain platform. So you can see, I'll leave this here in case you guys want to read that. You can see that there's a lot of stuff going on where they're being mentioned. I mean, they're involved in a lot of stuff. I think with Ripple, you see Ripple's very, very dialed in on the cross-border payments and working with the banks and stuff. And it looks like R3's got a little broader scope, which is, I'm not necessarily saying that's a good or a bad thing. I think Ripple's got more going on than we know as well. But they talk about for like pay-as-you-go identity, a blockchain identity system adopts a user-centric approach, eliminating central points of failure by empowering individuals with self-sovereign possession over their own data. To get the highest level of digital identity, you need to have transactions. You verify, you do biometrics, but the best thing you can do is to have the transaction proofs afterward. Now, when you put the payment and identity together, you'll get a transaction proof probably 3 or 4 times a day. When you make a payment, it's checked with the merchant, it's being checked with payment, and the gateway is being checked with the banks and the many other services you interact with. So that trend is not only a transaction, it's a quadruple verification on each point. They talk about how in Estonia, every citizen has access to state-issued digital identity, which can be used to provide digital signatures. So it makes sense that they would look into using blockchain tech to add a layer of security, trust, and data integrity for all the data it holds on its citizens. However, few details are available in the actual implementation. It remains unclear how they're actually using the blockchain. They go over a bunch of cool stuff in here that's going on with the ID thing, and I think the digital ID thing is going to be really big. You can look into global ID, which is Greg Kigg's gig. All that stuff's really interesting to me. They talk about how Royal Dutch Airlines was using R3's blockchain for financial processes. They were working on blockchain actively. They were using for accounting process and settlements, implementing the R3's Corda, which is an open source enterprise blockchain platform that is designed to record, manage, and synchronize data. So you got major airlines. India Tech Mahindra sped up cross-border transactions with blockchain. They also were using R3. Where does it say it? I was pretty sure. Yeah, they were using R3's blockchain-based Marco Polo network. Here's the NASDAQ. We already said that they were helping to build institutional-grade digital assets. R3's compatibility with highly regulated environments inspired the partnership. Their platform fits well into NASDAQ's technology ecosystem, and by connecting to the platform, we can harness the power of a scalable design that delivers a new level of interoperability and ease of integration to any current legacy technology system. That's huge, right? I mean, this is the biggest piece in here to me. That's a major thing. So is this. MasterCard and R3 joined the Linux Foundation for Data Privacy Project. That's awesome stuff, too. Singapore FinTech Association gives startup access to R3. I'm going to kind of skim through these a little bit. Standard Chartered conducts first blockchain trade in Bangladesh. And they were using this Contour network, which is a blockchain network that builds on R3's Corda blockchain and enables the participants to leverage the network to create renewed trade data in real time for global distributed digital trading. Really interesting. That's the Contour thing I want to look into. And like I said, all these are a little older. We're still in 2020 at this point. R3 Corda network set to go DeFi with XDC digital currency. And it talks about XDC as a currency in its own right. It is issued as an exchange token to Cordite society members, and it's minted or created will be evenly distributed amongst those cooperative society members. It goes on to just talk more about it. Anything in finance needs to solve the know your customer identity problem out of the box, as well as provide privacy between the parties that are transacting. If the technology doesn't solve that, they seemingly ignore those requirements and wait for regulators to give chase. It's a globally scalable currency. Use case of cryptocurrencies has been elusive in over a decade of innovation on this space. One of the barriers has been closer alignment with existing systems of money, regulations, and government in a way which still preserves the decentralized ethos of the asset class. The XDC digital currency is one of a tiny handful of projects which meets all these complexity criteria, and I'm excited to back this project from all angles. And I believe that's R3 getting on board with Zinfin. Russia Alpha Bank joins HSBC-backed blockchain trade finance network, which is all built on R3 and the Contour platform. You know, these are nations, guys. HSBC Bangladesh is using it to import 20,000 tons of fuel from Singapore, so I guess they're using it for the logistics standpoint for shipping or whatnot. R3 Corda now has a bridge to public blockchains with the arrival of the Ethereum-based XDC, and that kind of just plays off of what we were just reading a second ago. I think it's more of a case of a rising tide lifts all boats. This is continuing to make Corda the go-to place for financial services, and in this case, trade finance. And I'm starting to see that being brought up a lot about XDC, so I'm gonna dig into that deeper. And if you guys know of any like XDC influencers that are big on Twitter or channels that have great information, drop their stuff in the comments or DM me on Twitter, whatever it is, because I need to find places to dig, because just going through Google, it's so overwhelming. You just find so much of the same stuff, and it took me an hour just to find some of this stuff. China's blockchain project BSN to integrate R3 Corda, so Chinese banks will soon have access to a permissioned version of the Corda enterprise infrastructure via the country's blockchain service network. That's also huge, and that was in March of this year. Corda will go live in China via BSN's open permission blockchain initiative to offer Chinese developers low-cost access to Corda technology. Red Date will also help to drive Corda and Corda apps adoption among all Chinese banks, enabling Chinese financial companies to streamline their business processes and receive the profound benefits of enterprise blockchain. And then this is old. This is one I've always looked back to when I was picking some of my digital assets in the beginning. Blockchain, Corda, Ripple, and Swift. And this is the thing I'm saying. I have a feeling that they're all still going to be here. Swift, GPI, and I think they're all going to work together. We'll get into that in the next video, but this talks about R3 as the leading provider of multi-party tech for regulated markets, is the only platform that combines DLT, guided learning paths for industry experts, and a ready-made global payments network in a single environment to enable the issuance, management, and distribution of CBDCs. And this talks about their sandbox. You can read that. I'll do this if you want to pause it. You can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to scan through that right now. And then they talk about, this was in March of this year, R3's blockchain network Corda to use XDC as settlement coin. We also know that it also uses XRP as a settlement coin. There's a few coins I think that it's going to be able to use by the time it's said and done. Well, maybe more than a few, but... And then here's another one where it says, all entities below Corda will use XDC to settle within Corda. And this is, when we get to this Quincy Jones stuff, he talks about this. I'm going to see if I can find a clip. I don't want to steal it off his YouTube. It's not really my style, but maybe I'll DM him and see if he can hook me up with a clip or something. But he talks about how within Corda is really where XDC will be used. So it won't be used so much as a currency because of its smart contract capabilities. It'll be more of like an internal thing that you're using to transfer back and forth, and that's me paraphrasing in a sloppy way. Network for financing through TradeFinex. They are not obliged to do so, but they can do so if they want. If they want to settle outside of Corda, XRP will be the first choice, and then the second will be Swift GPI, and that's kind of what I was getting into. And then just to pull this graphic up, it shows where they're all members of these groups here, and you see some of them on repeat here. And for now, I mean, there's Standard Charters on here, BMP's on there a few times. You got R3 obviously is on there. I saw a few other ones too. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this video. That's just a very brief, sloppy, let's go at it as quick as we can intro to R3, just so we understand that R3 being involved with the Zenfin network has a lot to do with why I am bullish on it anyway. Maybe not why everybody is, but that's what's brought me here, and why I hold some XDC personally. That's not financial advice. Do all your own research, and I will catch up with you guys on the next one.